Hey, it's Jacqueline, walking around Auckland, New Zealand on a very windy day, as you can tell. Today, I wanted to talk about personal accountability and expectations that we put on other people to make our dating life successful. I have to say, in order to find your person, there's this crazy thing called you have to go on a date. You actually have to go on a date. And you have to meet people, you have to give them an opportunity, you have to be engaged in the experience. What's happening so often is that people are not actually dating. They spend way too much time talking about the idea of dating. They go and complain about dating. They focus on everything that they want the other person to do, yet they never actually experience the person. So one of the things about being in a relationship is that it's not one-sided. But, all my years of matchmaking, I can definitely say the level of accountability was a direct reflection of their success. You have to go out with people. You can't keep talking about dating somebody. You can't keep talking about what it would be like to meet somebody and how people aren't dating right and how it's never going anywhere and all the things that they did wrong. You have to stop and acknowledge that you actually have to work around communicating with another person. The problem is we've spent so much time in our own heads, in our own thoughts, and our own feelings. We haven't had to negotiate communications or speaking about what our wants, needs, and desires are. We're missing out on making those connections. We're missing out on negotiating and communicating and exploring the feelings, the interests, the intrigue, because we're not even getting to the first date. And even with the first date, it's still the nervous energy. Sometimes somebody's late, sometimes somebody's early. Sometimes people seem like they put more effort than others. What I'm noticing is people are judging a lot. They're judging every single step of that encounter. If they're late, if they're early, if they paid, if they dressed up, if they were casual, what they chose to eat, instead of focusing on what it is that they want, what it is that they're looking for. And that's part of what is so necessary. What's happening is that people aren't actually dating to get to know someone. They're dating so that they can choose what they're not happy with, if that makes sense. They're focusing on all the negative. They're expecting perfection. They're expecting somebody to come into their life with all of these amazing qualities. The whole world's going to stop for them. There's so many ridiculous expectations that are being put on the people that they're dating. This is what becomes really frustrating in the dating coaching world, is that the accountability. It's one thing to say, hey, I would love to find my person. And it's another thing to actually show up for your person. Let your person appreciate you. What happens is people are constantly talking so much about what the other person isn't doing that they've actually lost sight of what they are doing. But also, they're thinking that they're perfect, that they can do no wrong, and that they're just lucky that the other person got a chance to meet them. If we could get out of our own way, we would be so much more successful with dating and actually feel privileged. It's been really interesting. I've gone on a couple of dates while here in Auckland, and there is a respectful courtship. There is a desire to actually take you out and go on a nice dinner and have a nice visit and spend time getting to know one another and put in some effort, put in some engagement. And I was just kind of curious what that was like. It's so easy to just expect the hookup, expect, the coffee date, which, I always say you can just do coffee with a friend. A little more effort does matter, but coffee dates can be good. I think dessert's a better one if you want something little and simple just to kind of check out. But you have to go on the date to find out if you like somebody. There are so many clients in my matchmaking days that never would have connected or clicked or been a couple. They had to go on a date. And they had to sometimes go on a second and third even when they weren't completely sold. Yes, love at first sight happens, possibilities are there, but the reality is you actually have to go on the date to actually have some results. And then you have to go on the date with a mentality of openness, curiosity, and personal responsibility. I'm just really, really tired of how many people keep putting all the responsibility on everybody else. Everybody else is what they're not doing. They're not meeting the right people. They're not experiencing the right people. And, what's available is what's available wherever you are. And you need to make it the best that it is. And then you need to grow from it and be open. But if all you focus on is what's not happening, you're going to keep getting what's not happening. So how accountable are you for dating? How much responsibility do you take? And how judgmental are you of the other people? And I really hope you're not one of those women that gets together and clucks with other women to complain, to talk about all the things men aren't doing. Instead, I hope you're a woman that says positive things about other men and knows that we're all coming from our own equations and that everybody deserves to find their person. Everybody has the opportunity to be with their person. And it's only respectful that we keep positive thoughts, because that's all we're all looking for, is where our person is. So showing some respect, but just make sure you're not one of those girls that clucks and is negative about men. Instead, focus on what is working. In all my years as a matchmaker, there's a distinct difference between the people that show respect, communication, patience, and are non-judgmental, are more apt to find the person you're looking for. So I will wrap up my video because this wind is difficult to chat with, but I want you to know that I'm here to encourage and inspire you from many, many years of working with singles. You have to be in the front row. You have to show up for the life that you want. You have to participate. No matter what anybody else is doing, you have to absolutely participate and show up in the way that you want to get the results that you want. Nobody else is going to decide your future. Nobody else is going to make or break your dating life. Nobody can make somebody date you. Nobody can make you fall in love. You get to choose how you want to show up and how you want to participate. And that is the greatest blessing, the greatest gift, the greatest opportunity, is that you get to write your own story. This is your journey. This is your experience. And the clients of mine that have taken responsibility, showed up, and participated are the ones that found their person and are still with their person. The difference is they chose to be 100% responsible, non-judgmental, and engaged and learned and realized they had to start talking and thinking differently because they wanted to be in a relationship. They didn't want to always be right and all about them. They wanted it to be about others and have that experience. So, I am Jacqueline, and I'm going to keep encouraging you. This cold wind is making my eyes water, but it is so beautiful here in Auckland, isn't it?